Hey everyone, and welcome back. I know it's been a little bit since my last non-update video. I think it was one of my Conquest ones. But one of the things that I wanted to do today was go through all the Omicrons in the game and really give my thoughts and opinions about this. And I think what I really want what to do with this is going to be the first time on this channel since changing my name that I actually go through why I changed my name. I was just MDA gaming before, and it was great. You know, that's my name. But I wanted to make this channel and to share a more optimistic opinion when it comes to things, not just in game, but I mean throughout everything. Life is more fun when you enjoy things, and I think sometimes we can get caught up in being negative or hating things for the sake of hating things, and not, enjoying things. And so, I'll be honest, if something's bad, I'm going to call it bad, but I'm still going to be optimistic with it. So this is going to be my approach with starting today. I might be doing it with other things in the game, but for today, right now, we're going to be jumping into all the Omicrons. And what I wanted to do, and especially when it comes to ranking things, because ranking is a very, very subjective thing. Everyone has a different opinion, and to really ground my opinion, I wanted to provide criteria for what I was basing this off of. This will be some cool post-editing thing. I will have right up here, you'll see me point up here, and it's going to have whatever I'm talking about. So basically, for all the Omicrons, this is how I am basing an Omicron. So right up here, Omicrons are additional upgrades that elevate a character/team to beat teams that were traditionally valued higher, or brings its respective faction into a level of competitiveness previously unattainable. For all of these Omicrons, I am going to be taking ideal team composition into account, as well as competitive relic gear modding levels. The other thing is I will not be taking into account defensive performance. Every team in this game is able to be beaten, and I am not going to hold defensive performance against a certain team. Every team, for the most part, has a hard counter or soft counter, and I'm not going to let that sway for the value that it brings. So we are going to get started with the GAC Omicrons. So, got my nice little ranking thing here, and I will be saving this template, so feel free if you guys want to go rank things. I will be updating these as new Omicrons get added. And so these are going to be the criteria for my tiers here. So up here, there. For S tier, these Omicrons will be meta in 3v3 and 5v5. They will elevate a team to legendary status or higher, and it defeats legendary teams consistently and can be competitive against galactic legends. For the A tier, it is going to be a very good upgrade that is competitive against meta and legendary teams, with all-around usage in both 3v3 and 5v5. I think the main thing here that is holding an A to an S or an S from an A is the consistent viability versus galactic legends and the true meta nature for this team. For the B tier, it is going to be a good upgrade, but is mainly used for specific off-meta counters to meta/legendary teams. It is going to be very good in 3v3 or 5v5, but usually not both. And finally, for the C tier, right there, is going to upgrade a team or character, but it's going to be more for niche counters. These will usually not. They usually will not elevate a team to beat anything that is outside their own tier, and they will solidify already existing counters. And then I'm going to have, obviously, the things that we can't test yet, so they're going to be the unable to rank. And the reason that I have this criteria here is I believe with every Omicron in the game, there is no bad Omicron. Everyone provides some sort of value where others provide more value than others. And I'm not going to call anything trash, useless, or anything of that. I think every Omicron that we have received so far provides some sort of value, and it does make a character or faction better. So without further ado, let's jump into the GAC Omicrons. So starting off, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go by tier as opposed to just going down the line. So starting off with my S tier, I have Wampa Omicron as S tier. I think the fact that you get a solo character that can take on most legendary teams. There's a couple matchups that aren't that great for Wampa, but the fact that he is used 3v3, 5v5, he is an essential offensive team, and even taking down some Galactic Legends, I would say that Wampa Omicron is worth absolutely. If you have him at the necessary gear and relic levels, absolutely, Wampa Omicron is one of the best you can get. Next is the Star Killer Unique Omicron. This is pretty much what makes Star Killer the amazing team that he is in 3v3, or I'm sorry, in 5v5 and 3v3 in Grand Arena. Just adds so much viability to the collection of Force users that he brings together, and it just all around is just a really, really great upgraded Omicron, and I would put this in the S tier. For the A tier, I am going with Qui-Gon Jinn, I am going with Zam, and I'm going to double check my list here, and First Order TIE Pilot. Now, we have yet to see First Order TIE Pilot in 5v5, however, based off the wording of the kits and his performance in 3v3, I think he's going to make the First Order very meta and very consistent across the board with how well they perform. Zam, I would argue, has S tier performance. However, Zam will fall off in 3v3, not performing as well as it does in 5v5. However, it's still a very good Omicron. And then Qui-Gon brings a Jedi team that's really outside of Galactic Legends or throwing the Galactic Republic Jedi on a Padme team. It was average to say it best, whereas Qui-Gon makes it into something much better. Especially in 3v3, it performed really, really well. So I will put these for my A tier here. For B tier, let's see what I have on my list. B tier, I am having Akbar, Princess Leia. I am adding Iden. I am adding Chirpa. And I am adding Tusken Raider. And Dash. Forgot about Dash. So my reasonings here for this is Akbar and Leia, I am going to rank them separately. However, they do perform best while they are together. They make a solid team. You can throw Princess Leia on a CLS team, and you can do a lot of damage with that, getting great banners, and that allows you to pull off a Han or Chewie. Or with Akbar, you're able to take some of these lesser used rebels and to use them as, counters to something in a back wall or possibly even a front wall. Together, they can defeat a lot of different legendary teams, and in 3v3 they form, I would say, almost a staple team to use on offense. And so I'm going to put them in the B tier because I don't think that they're C tier, but they're definitely not A tier, so I think B is definitely a good place for them. Iden. Iden's just a really good Omicron. I think that you can have some A tier performances. However, I think that in 3v3 she really kind of fell off and is not as good as she was in 5v5. And I think to be an A tier, you need that consistency. For Chirpa, Chirpa and Ewoks are a great team. If you guys don't subscribe to the Gerbil, he has some really great content with Ewoks, and if you're going to invest in Ewoks, throw that Omicron on, and you are really able to punch up above their weights. I've even seen the Chirpa Omicron taking on Qui-Gon teams, variety of Bounty Hunter, First Order, different Jedi teams, a lot of meta important teams in Grand Arena. So I would say the Chirpa one is definitely a solid B tier. Tusken Raider. I was really torn on this one because I would say Tusken Raider really has an A tier impact in terms of what it can do. However, I think the fact that you are limited to just 3v3 it's hard to justify putting it up that high since you're only able to use it half the time, as opposed to these other Grand Arena Omicrons where they are active all the time. So I think for that reason, it's a solid B tier. It really does a lot for the Tusken faction, but since it's only viable in one of the two modes, that's the highest that I'm comfortable putting it. And then Dash Omicron. Love Dash Omicron a lot in 5v5. I would actually probably argue it has A tier impact in 5v5, but in 3v3, it falls off a bit. It's not quite as, I think it struggles kind of the same thing with Iden. It's not quite as good in 3v3, and as a result, based off the criteria that I gave, I think it's B tier. So for C tier, it is going to be Talon, Krennic, Rose, and the 2 Starkiller Omicrons. Basically here, I'm going to touch with the Starkiller Omicrons first. These definitely make Starkiller better. However, there is no counter for Starkiller that requires these Omicrons in order to counter said team. These Omicrons will definitely make the counters more specific. I would say his first special here will make the Ray counter a bit more consistent, and the repulse ability, the second special, will make if you're countering a Jedi Master Luke, a First Order. It makes it more consistent because you're able to do more damage. However, these are definitely not necessary, and they aren't what make up the S tier component of Starkiller. So I would say they're C tier. The rest of these, I might be hesitant on Talon. I have seen some good things as of late, but for the most part, right now, none of these. And while they all add value. I think Rose can solidify a resistance team. Krennic can do things with the Empire, and Talon with Sith. They're not allowing that team to punch up above their weight. And so, by all means, if you want to apply these Omicrons, you are going to get value from them. I'm sure if you can find counters with it that you use for them, and especially if you have to gear or relic them up, if you went for Rey, C, or Starkillers respectively, you will get value by throwing these on. However, I would argue that these ones above the list will add more value. That's my opinion there for the GAC Omicrons. And last but not least is the Radis and all of Darth Malgus's. Obviously, we have not been able to test either of these since Malgus is not unlockable yet, and Radis has yet to be seen in Grand Arena. I'm not going to rank them until we can see. However, I think these are all. I think Malgus will probably see some S tier, and I think Radis we will see possibly I would imagine a B or A tier, but that is to be seen. Next here, we are going to jump with the TW Omicrons. And for these, the criteria is mainly the same. However, I do want to specify it. So for S tier, let me get this pulled up here. S tier, right there. S tier Omicrons are going to be meta in this mode. They will elevate a team to legendary status or higher, and it will defeat legendary teams and can be competitive against galactic legends. The A tier, a very good upgrade that is competitive against meta and legendary teams. B tier, good upgrades, but is mainly used for specific off-meta counters to meta/legendary teams. And the C tier, it will upgrade teams and characters, but are for more niche counters. These usually will not elevate a team to beat anything that is outside of their own, and these will solidify already existing counters. So, jumping into TW for the S tier. I think the lead and the unique for Boba Fett Scion of Jango are S tier. I think both of these are required if you're wanting to really be consistent versus Galactic Legends, and especially if you get this Conquest character, you are going to want both of these. The lead, I would say, is definitely the most important because it adds all the meat and the meat and potatoes. However, the unique is what gives you the extra stacks of momentum, makes you immune to ability block and stun, the health and protection recovery, which the extra momentum will give you more turn meter. This is, I would say, these need to go hand in hand. These are S tier Omicrons. For the A tier, I think it is Captain Phasma, it is Mace Windu, and it is, I forgot my girl Juhani. I forgot to add her on the list. That is embarrassing. Here's what I'll do in post editing. I will add it there, and it will stay there for till I switch. And after this video, I'll go ahead and add Juhani onto the list. So Juhani's there. So the idea is here, Phasma, you take these characters, like if you went for Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, and you make I would say one of the better teams that you run in Territory Wars, where you have to have specific counters for this team. And now I know I did say that I wasn't taking in defensive viability. However, I would say the frequency that you're going to see Phasma, or if you're using Phasma on offense, it is countering a lot of legendary teams, and it is taking something that was I would say like a backwall team, or if it was just a team that you were never using on offense, to a team that is a staple for TW. Very, very good upgrade. So if you went first order, this is something that you should definitely consider. Mace, especially with his rework, his Omicron adds a lot of viability to Padme teams, to Galactic Republic Jedi teams, to Jedi Master Kenobi teams. The Mace Omicron adds a lot, and it is something that's a lot of every level of guild. You're going to see on defense, using it on offense. This is a staple Omicron. And then last but not least, Juhani. Juhani basically makes Starkiller relevant in Territory Wars, and I'm sure we've seen Arnold's videos. I've seen more and more, as it becomes more and more popular, more and more videos are popping up of using it on offense, and it is a very good Omicron, definitely worthy of A tier. And honestly, I could see it pop up into the S tier. However, I am going to wait. For right now, I'm just going to keep it at A tier, but I could see this jumping up into the S tier. Next is the B tier. I'm putting Hera, Chief Nebbit. I am putting Jyn Erso. I am putting Mara Jade, and I am putting T3M4. So the idea here is that all of these teams, what they add is they make all of their respective teams. So we have Phoenix, we have Jawas, we have Rogue One, and especially I could see Jyn Omicron with Radis lead. But I'm going to keep everything here B tier for now. So we have Rogue One, we have Empire, and we have droids, and I'm running droids with a sortie lead. These are all B tier. I think they have some specific top level counters. However, for the most part, they are going to just be really good. They're going to be good teams. They will punch above their weight for specific counters, but all around, they are not performing at the level of these A tier Omicrons. And then last for the C tier, I am having the Boba Fett Scion of Jango special, I am having Farm Boy Luke, and I am having Darth Sidious. And the idea here is, and I'm going to be honest, for Farm Boy Luke specifically, I've not seen much gameplay of him. It's one that I've actually thought about applying, but I'm hesitant because I'm not really sure what it will do besides solidifying a niche counter. Sidious is like all of these Omicrons. I have the Scion of Jango special one. It is really fun, and it makes some of my counters more specific. However, it is not necessary in order to win. These do provide value. Sidious adds some. It adds some versatility to the Sith, giving them the extra health, him the extra speed, and it's a fun Omicron. However, I would say it does not bring the value that these do here. So if you want to apply these 3 Omicrons at the bottom here, by all means, go ahead. You're going to get value from them, but I would argue you're going to get more from these, and thus they're ranked where they are. Last but not least, we have the Inquisitors. I know these are able to be used. However, because they are leading up to the release of the Grand Inquisitor, I think we can all agree as the community it is unfair to rank them without seeing what the bigger piece of the puzzle is with the Inquisitors. So as a result, I feel comfortable just leaving them there for right now until we see what the Grand Inquisitor is going to bring. Next is Territory Battle Omicrons. And believe it or not, I do have criteria for Territory Battle Omicrons. Right here. Yeah, finger pointer right there. For S tier, this is going to be an ideal team to run in territory battles over the likes of legendary teams and teams consisting of territory battle heroes. These will meet or exceed performances of galactic legends and territory battles. For the A tier, these are going to be very good teams to use in territory battles. They will meet or exceed the they will meet or exceed the impact of legendary teams and teams consisting of territory battle heroes with the optimal gear, relics, and modding. Jumping into this, for the S tier, we have Rolo, we have Kyle Katarn, and we have Imperial Probe Droid. And the idea here is that Rolo, I personally do have the Rolo Omicron, and it allows you to take Jedi Master Luke requirements, and it has been one of the most consistent teams that I've run in Lightside Geo. And from what I've seen around the community, you're able to essentially hit the auto button and get 4 out of 4 regardless of the final boss and regardless of the phase. Getting the health and protection recovery and getting the stacking offense is one that's a very neat and fun mechanic. And if you're looking for a team that is going to get you a guaranteed 4 out of 4, that is what Rolo is going to bring. Same thing with Kyle Katarn, and you could argue the Rebel fighters that are Mon Mothma will achieve the same result with or without the Omicron. However, with this Omicron, you can run him with Jedi and you can run him with the Rebel fighters, and you are guaranteed to go 4 out of 4. Not allowing the turn meter gain and giving the different bonuses is really good, and it is something that is one that you can just hit the auto button and you'll get a 4 out of 4. Imperial Probe Droid. And while I am not going... So with comparing these here, I understand that Darkside Geonosis territory battles is less difficult than Lightside. However, with future territory battles to possibly come out, or even ranking them respectively just for what they are, the value that he brings, and throughout all the phases, Imperial Probe Droid makes the Empire teams virtually unstoppable. He revives every phase, and the offense that he gives the team, it's insane. I've seen some gameplay of him in Phase 4 of Darkside GOTB, and you see Palpatine popping off for hundreds of thousands of damage, Tarkin doing hundreds of thousands of damage in the AoE, and it's one of those that just takes the RNG out, and it makes it so much easier. And I understand if you do not appreciate or want to apply any territory battle Omicrons. However, based off my criteria here, I would say this is the value that you're receiving. Next is the Karth Onasi Omicron. And I really like the Karth Omicron for what it brings. However, you do need to have the optimal relics and modding, and there is some levels of RNG with putting it on. I would say it is going to, like I said in the criteria, it is going to meet the level of the legendary / territory battle hero teams. So I would say you are looking at, in Lightside Geo, a consistent, at a bare minimum, 3 waves, if not with proper modding and proper play in game, you should be able to get a 4 out of 4 with this team. And last is the Finn Omicron. I think once Lightside Geo rolls around, the Finn Omicron will go up into the S tier category. It looks very good, it projects to be very good, but I will hold out my opinion until we can see it. Last, I was not able to make a tier maker for the Conquest ones because we only have one so far. So I am, for right now, for Conquest, I am just doing a pass or fail. And basically, if it hits my criteria here, it will pass. And if it doesn't, then it will be a fail. So the one that we have is, let me make sure this is shown right, is Sorty's Omicron. So we see, courtesy of swgoh.gg, we have Sorty, and looking at her Omicron, it is a really good Omicron for Conquest. So let me, because I have a white thing that's going to pop up. Let me get my notes here. So, popping up here, this is my criteria for passing and failing. Conquest. It is going to be an ideal team or character to use in Conquest, regardless of the data disk setup, if any, and stamina. You will be able to 3-star any node and you can help contribute towards feats. It will be able to compete with all boss nodes regardless of modifier or galactic legend status. This Omicron here definitely meets that criteria. If you want to see more, I will put this in link in the description. Triplix, great content creator in our community, does a lot of territory battle and conquest material. A lot of how I've succeeded in conquest has been because of him, so definitely check out if you want to see the Omicron in action. This was in the most recent conquest, and you can see here in the video he is using a 2-star Gear 8 sortie with the Zetas and the Omicrons with this droid team. And if you skip around throughout the video, he gets down to really low stamina, running against General Skywalker teams, running against all certain things, and you can even see here the stamina gets really, really low. Really good Omicron so far. It's one of those, hey, if you want if you want to invest in a Conquest Omicron, this definitely gets my it passes my seal of approval here. Yeah, that is what I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys thought of my list. Comment down below what Omicrons you guys have, and what's your favorite Omicron. I appreciate you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next one.